How are you, Mother?
Molly's present from her grandpa.
I did, and I left it there to terrify Sarah. What is the tell the listening audience what you left my wife, because that's what's going to happen.
It was a snake skin that had shed, and we found it on the driveway, and we brought it for Molly's science project.
For Molly's science project that she doesn't have yet? That's amazing. I left it on the counters just so Sarah would think it's a real snake.
Well, when we told Oscar thought it was cool, and when we told Oscar it was for Molly's school project, you know what he said?
What?
Yeah, right. What did you think of it?
She went, huh, and then face back in her phone.
You're a good podcast. I love you.
Love you too.
Ding, ding, I win.
Okay, bye. Love you too.
Goodbye.
Definitely left that fucking snakeskin out for Sarah. That'll be funny.
That's great. I wish I had cool parents that left bio waste in my house.
You could. They'll adopt you.
Sweet. I do, and then they just give me like half of a roadkill.
You're part of the family now.
Oh, it's the asshole part. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Do you remember what I told you we're doing this week? Well, I like doing this now. This is my new fun thing. Damn it!
I actually do this time, yeah.
What was it? Liar?
Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, and how in 2025 Leonardo DiCaprio actually finds Kate Winslet repulsive because of her age.
Ah, that's true. He would at this
So the
point.
mystery is, why is Leonardo DiCaprio attracted only to children?
That's not really a mystery. It's like a Hollywood thing. They all do that.
It's true. It's true.
He just
He's
got the taste for it at a young age when he was pretending to be like retarded in Gilbert Grape.
Yeah. We have to save the environment, because if we don't, all of those beautiful kids won't survive.
Oh God. It's funny that he was in he was in a TV show as a kid where he was adopted in like the 7th season by the family. It's like
I don't remember.
Family Ties or Family. It's not Family Matters.
Really?
Yeah, but like
that would be fucking crazy if it was Family Matters.
That
would rock so hard. If Leonardo DiCaprio was adopted by one of the quintessential 90s sitcom black families.
Yeah. The whitest of white kids.
Yeah.
No, it was the one with Kirk Cameron, where it was the older brother and the dad was like
I think it's
Alan
Family
Thicke.
Ties.
Alan Thicke was the dad.
Yeah.
It was like their last season. They adopted a random fucking street kid. I don't know what it was, but it was Leonardo DiCaprio. It's just random that they just added a kid. Like, ratings are down. Let's add a cute kid. Anyways,
you got to do it.
So, do you actually remember, or do you think it's like Kate Winslet again? I said again because we did Titanic.
Yeah, it's Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we already did Titanic, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Never mind, I don't remember them. That's funny. I was really convinced. I was like, yeah, I remember you told me it was Titanic. And then we just did a whole episode on Titanic that I managed to forget.
You were going to tell me another hour about Titanic, right? Absolutely not. I fucking hated writing that, and I never want to redo that again. That's fucking amazing.
I do remember that now.
This one I had a lot more fun doing. This one we're going back to the Wild West. You don't remember this at all. I'm trying to give you previews of what we're doing at the end to see if you remember now, and you didn't. That's amazing. We're going back to the Wild West.
I remember Wild West.
Yeah, we're going to see a female bandit, the Bandit Queen, in fact.
Oh, yeah. What was let me see if I remember her name.
Okay. Kate Winslet. That's not Kate Winslet.
Oh shit. All right. Mayor of Easttown.
We're doing today. We're gonna have some fun with some Wild West folklore, because most of it's bullshit, and that's what I love about it. A lot of people, when I was researching this, they're like, all these stories are probably all made up. Not in this episode. They're all real. We're doing Belle, Starr, the Bandit Queen.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Black Belle, is that what it is?
Black Belle was what your name was in Red Dead Redemption 2. I tried to give you
Oh,
that.
right. Yeah.
They put her
Ah,
in Red Dead.
well,
Yeah.
I tried.
No, you definitely remember Titanic.
I remembered a video game that I played instead of
the human person you talk to once every couple weeks.
yeah. No, dude, I remember you just fine. It's just what you say that I
Mm.
can't seem to retain.
Okay, let's do it this way. When I tell you what it is, whatever magic card you're looking at, try to remember that. Maybe you can associate with the magic card.
I'm not looking at any magic cards today. I bought a Switch too, so I'm gonna try to figure out how to sneakily play that. I'm kidding. I don't have it up here.
I want to go on a tangent and ask you about the Switch too, but I'm not doing it. So,
That's okay. I'm gonna tease you with it and try to get you to for the entire episode.
okay, that's fine. I just want to play Mario Kart. Anyways, before we get too far into Belle's life,
Give me the open world Mario Kart
yeah,
where you can drive
Mario Kart.
around and yeah.
yeah. Can you go to the Wild West?
I believe that
Can you
is
be a
one of
gunslinger?
the. I'm sure there's a Wild West-esque biome in the Mario Kart world.
Do they make Princess Peach sit side saddle on the fucking cart while she runs through the Wild West, just like because she's a woman and that's what they say women did back then?
I don't know. I've been playing as Yoshi, and that's a little less sexy, but not unsexy.
I was gonna say it's still sexy, dude. It's just
Yeah.
not as sexy.
What that tongue do?
A lot.
Plum.
Yeah, I'm just scared what happens when it goes back into his mouth. Just swallows it. Oh!
Sticks to your dick and yanks you for.
And then he instantly shits out an egg with your cock just inside of it through his body. That's
Best
gross.
blowjob I've ever had.
You have to hatch your cock out of his asshole. I guess he's a dinosaur. He probably has a cloaca. Moving on. So, yeah, like I said a couple seconds ago, all this stuff's bullshit. I love it. It's my favorite thing. None of the stuff could be proven as true. I'm going to acknowledge that off the top, that a lot of these stories are probably just made up by like biographers in the late 1800s, early 1900s that just like the story and like kept adding to it, but they just kept taking each other's stories and like making new, like it's all, but I don't care. I don't care. It's all real. It's all true to me. So we're doing that. We're moving on. I like the tall tales. Historically accurate. I'm saying that it's putting a stamp on this. This is all historically accurate. I want so bad. It's like when I'm doing the Knights of the Round Table, and I make up a lie every episode just to see if people like. I want someone to like take that and add it to the lore eventually. Just like kind of like I'm doing research on this guy, and then they like don't listen to me say I'm lying to you, and then because I tell people, and they just hear it and they go like, oh, King Arthur was a rapist, and then that's it. They just move on. Like, yeah. I want that to happen. I want that to be added. So same thing with this. I want Belle's shit to be true. So Belle Starr is actually a name she took later in life. She was born Myra Maybelle Shirley on her father's farm near Carthage, Missouri on February 5th, 1848. As a kid, most of her family just called her May. I'm probably just going to like skip the whole thing and just start calling her Belle early on so it doesn't get confusing when they do the name change, but I will mention it. Her father, John Shirley, was part of a well-to-do family in Virginia and was considered the black sheep of his family when he was a kid. He was the oldest child from his father's previous marriage. So he had a bunch of brothers and sisters, but they were like half brothers and sisters. So he was kind of the outcast. So he left home early as he could.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, yeah?
Yeah, he was Andre 3000.
Oh, yeah, he was. Hey, yeah. Hey, is that supposed to be yeehaw just backwards? Anyways.
I don't know. That's an interesting thought. Maybe we should delve down it for 30 to 40 minutes.
Correct. You're not wrong. Get the Google out. Rick, go. He's not here. So yeah, he left early. He moved west to Indiana, divorced twice before meeting his final wife, Elizabeth Hatfield Shirley. She was 20 years younger than him, so probably 10, and he was 30. I don't really know when he got married to her, but the 1850s, that seems about right. Eliza, as she was known, was a distant relative of the infamous Hatfield family from the old Hatfield-McCoy family feud thing. That's like another famous true crime story that I don't really care about, and I'm not getting into at all today. John and Eliza moved to Carthage and bought a farm. That's the farm where May was born, or Belle was born. In 1860, or in the 1860s, the Shirleys sold their farm and moved to Carthage after they bought a livery. Is it livery or livery? Livery. Livery?
Livery, I thought.
Livery.
Yeah. Because like over here, when you learn to drive a taxi, you get your livery license.
Okay. So she bought a livery stable. Sorry, the family bought a livery stable, blacksmith shop. They bought an inn. They bought a tavern. Like, real just bought up half the fucking town of Carthage. Belle, Shirley, I guess her last name's Shirley right now, was classically educated, learned how to play piano. Even though she learned how to read Greek, Latin, she learned math, more stuff while she was in school. Belle was considered, quote, a rather wild child and, quote, irregular in attendance. So she was smart, but just didn't like school. Didn't stop her from graduating. Most people that age couldn't read, so like I said, she's pretty smart. She later graduated from Missouri's Carthage Female Academy, which her father had helped found. So she's probably just a nepotism baby, but in their county.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would imagine that Andre 3000 doesn't do discipline very well. It just seems like a fun guy, you know?
I don't like the flute stuff. You can fuck off with the flute stuff.
But it's whimsy.
It's like annoying. It's like when you go to a party and someone pulls out a guitar, you're like, I gotta get out of here.
No, it's not. It's like if you go to a party and somebody pulls out a flute.
No, that's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah. Hey guys, here's Wonderwall on the flute.
Oh God. So yeah, Carthage Female Academy is where all the best families sent their daughters. That's what they said. Anyways, she was gifted musically though. She played piano, like I said, she played it well. At her father's inn, she would play piano for all the guests, even as a little kid. She was a performer. She was actually like pretty popular entertainer around her little town of Carthage. She was like kind of famous. She like got child star, like weird child. I guess you can't get like the full blown child stars there now, where like all of America knows the kid. But like in that little place, everyone knew who Myra
Sure.
Shirley was. It's kind of cute. She had an older brother named John Shirley, who everyone called Bud. Bud taught her how to ride horses and shoot a gun. John was a few older than her. John was a few years. Jesus Christ, I can't say the word years.
You,
John
you
was a
got it,
few.
dude. I believe in you.
John was a few years older than her, and
Nice.
she thought the world of him. Shirley's, like I said, were rich, but not super rich, because this is what they're saying. And when I was doing research, so like, yeah, they were rich, but like common because they didn't own any slaves. That's
Gotcha.
like, oh my fucking God. Not
Gotcha.
because
I'm sorry. What state was this in?
Missouri.
Virginia?
Missouri.
Missouri. I just read that like I think it was Oregon joined the Union not because they were anti-slavery, but because there were no black people allowed there.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's a good reason to be the part of the union, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Like, no, we don't want slavery at all.
Oh God. Yeah, so not because they didn't want slaves, because they couldn't afford slaves. They didn't have enough money. That didn't stop the Shirleys from participating in the Civil War on the Confederate side, though. When the Civil War
Mm.
broke out, Belle was 12 years old. And even though the Civil War had been waging for a few years, like during the couple of years when it started, she was still performing and gaining more and more fame throughout the area. At 14, like I said, she was a star. She loved the fame. She loved the attention that fame brought, really, even at a young age. During the Civil War, the Shirley Inn and Tavern became like a meeting place for all sorts of people. I'm terrible at geography, especially American geography. I'm pretty good here. Like, I don't know American. But apparently, like, where they were was kind of like the in between, kind of more on the Confederate side, but a lot of Union people would come, and it was like neutral-ish state. So that place was, people were gathering all the time, like Confederate soldiers, and she was meeting shit tons of people there. Belle first meets Jesse James and the younger brothers at the inn during the war. So she's still a kid, but she was famous enough, and I'm sure she made an impression because she does have a lot of stuff to do with those guys later on in her life. The Tavern Inn is also where Belle and her family met Clark Quantrill. Quantrill was a captain of an active Jasper County bushwhacker crew called Quantrill's Raiders. Do you know what? Did you ever hear what bushwhackers are? I never knew what the fuck this was. It's
People who hit hairy vaginas with well, yeah, I wouldn't say a bat. That doesn't sound very wacky. That's more like thumpy,
yeah.
but maybe like a belt.
Okay. I thought you were gonna go wrestling with that, like a 1980s fucking tag team duo called the Bushwhackers, but that's good. I'm
Oh
glad
no, bush, dude. Like pubic hair.
I got you. Like pubic hair
Yeah.
is back, dude. It's back, baby. I like it.
On what? Did you just shave it and it now it's growing in again?
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I thought it just went away. So yeah, bushwhackers were actually like guerrilla fighters during the war. They wouldn't be the guys like sitting shoulder to shoulder just getting shot at. I always thought that was fucking weird. Why they go to an open field and just like shoot each other while they all stood in the line? These guys were like in the woods, fucking hiding in trees and like jumping down on fucking Union soldiers, just fucking bayoneting them from the skies. Like it's pretty badass. Even though they're on the fucking shitty side, it's still cool. I'm sure both sides had these bushwhacker groups. So, like I said, the Shirleys were very much on the Confederate side, and thought of being a bushwhacker was very appealing to Bud Shirley. So, meeting Quantrell just gave him an in, and that's where Bud joins the Confederate forces, and he joins the Bushwhackers, the Quantrell's Raiders. Belle loved that her older brother was a bushwhacker, and it said that she supported her brother in his efforts. I read a story that in advance of Quantrill's raiders attacking like a house, she pretended to be a lost little girl and went up to some enemy house. She's 14 or 15. I couldn't really pin that down. And then she just gets to the door and she's like, I'm starving. Can I get some food? And it was wartime. And these people were like super nice, like, sure, come on in, have some food, have some water. And she was just there doing recon. And that night, the fucking Quantrill Raiders just destroyed those poor fucking Union anti-slavery people that lived in Missouri, like house. Like, fuck, man. There's even stories out there that Belle used to dress like a man, even at 14 or 15, and fought alongside of her brother in Quantrill's Raiders, which I'm going to say is 100% true. They were like, yeah, little girl, get on some man clothes and come fucking kill some fucking slave sympathizers. We want you. We need you. The Union Army rolls through Carthage, and her family businesses are either taken over or destroyed by the Northern forces. Bud was actually killed in Sarkozy, Missouri by federal troops in 1864. He was actually having dinner with some friends, and the Union militia surrounded the house. He tried to flee but got shot running away. After her brother's death, Belle vowed that she would marry the man who killed her brother's killer. So that's the way she got revenge. I will marry anybody who murders for me. I like it.
Really, yeah, really using her available power as a woman in that time period.
That's what a bushwhacker is. You get my bush if you whack that guy.
Nice.
So after the war, it was let's say hard. That's the word. Hard for Confederate supporters, like it should have been. Okay, Shirley's were no exception. Much of their livery and blacksmith business and inn were left in destruction or theft. Nothing left. Carthage and the Carthage area had been a highly contested place through the war, and with all the fighting and looting afterwards, the Shirley's businesses were effectively ruined. Bud had also died. Belle was super sad about this too because she looked up to Bud. She had to bury her brother. She was very sad. So Carthage was a super sad place for the entire family. So John, Eliza, Belle decided to pull the plug on Carthage, loaded their family and all their belongings into two wagons, and headed for where do racists go in 1840 or whatever, 1860, whatever the fuck year this is right now?
Uh,
Texas.
I was gonna say wherever they want.
Yeah, I guess it's regressed back to that.
Yep. Yeah. Either way, Texas is the home of the racists. So.
All of Texas. And that's blanket statement on purpose.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like they literally are passing a bill that is the most racist thing ever. It cuts off. They're trying to redistrict all of their voting areas so that they can get more federal power, basically, and tip the balance back to Republicans even harder because they know how unpopular all of the policies have been. So Trump is like, just give me more Republican congressman so that it sways the power in the House. And they were like, okay. So they just cut off a bunch of black voters from certain districts.
Oh, good. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, and it was so bad that all of the state legislature and Democrats from Texas left Texas. And so, like, like the speaker in Texas was like threatening to have them arrested. The governor was like, they're going to be prosecuted and dragged back. They're all in like Chicago and stuff.
what the
It was
fuck
insane.
is your country's a shithole?
I know, dude. I know. It's like this is like third world country shit. It's
It's
insane.
it's this is what dictators do. It's crazy.
I know. He's deploying the National Guard to all 50 states.
It's good. I hopefully the Senate burns down soon. That'll just be right Hitler.
Yep. What have I been saying? I'm gonna be for sure just taking pot shots out my second story window and like 18-year-old National Guardsmen.
Oh my God.
We're that much closer.
All right. Well, the Shirleys end up 723 miles away in Syene, Texas. It was a small settlement 10 miles south of Dallas. Dallas had about 2,000 people back then. Nowadays, Syene isn't even a place. It's been absorbed by Dallas. But yeah, these racists needed to move to Texas to feel comfortable. Belle drove one of the wagons. Just need to point that out because she was badass on a horse. She was badass with her guns, always, even as a kid. She's only 16 at this point. Belle's mother and father tried to get into real estate when they moved to Syene, but were very unsuccessful. Also tries to purchase another hotel, which also doesn't pan out. So they decide to get back into the pig farming and buy a ranch. Belle gets into a new school in Syene. It was a one-room school, and it was not the same as the prestigious academy she was at before. So she acted out even more. And this is where she gets a reputation of being kind of a bitch, which follows her through the rest of her life. She's kind of a bitch. I kind of like it. Doesn't take no shit from anyone. Some of Quantrill's raiders formed a gang after the war called the James Younger Gang. This is Jesse James's gang. That is also like a huge true crime story that I'm not going to really get into today, but we have to talk a little bit about them because they have to do with Belle's life. A guy named James C. Reed was in this gang, or supposedly, I'm going to say he was. He was 100% in this gang. James C. Reed was 3 years older than Belle, and Reed was also a member of the Quantrill's Raiders. He was really good friends with Bud, and they got along very well. She spent a lot of time with James Reed back when the Raiders were frequenting her family tavern, which she performed at. There's a story where the James Younger gang robs a bank in Missouri and then goes on the run. They'd killed a 17-year-old boy in the robbery, and when they try to escape, they end up in Syene, hiding from the law, and they end up at the Shirley Ranch. And that's where Reed and Belle get reacquainted. They were married on November 1st, 1866.
Hold on. Hold on. Did he
Yeah,
kill her brother's killer?
exactly. Yeah, actually, you know what? We'll get who killed her brother's killer and what she does with it in a bit. But
I
no,
was
he
gonna
did
say,
not.
because she fucking lied then.
Or she just going straight up gonna marry a couple people. Maybe she's
I
gonna marry
know,
about
but then
four.
now she's tainted the value of the reward.
Mm. Previously married girl is tainted.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
no, it's not because she's married. It's because someone had sex with her.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Duh. Richard.
The whore thing. I got you. She was a
Oh,
whore.
no one said that. I was
I
I was
did. I said
calling
it.
you. You said the whore thing. I just mean the thing. That's all she is. She's an object.
I
She's not
I got you.
a whore. A horror is something that's a personified characteristic. That's
That's fair. That's
yeah.
fair. You know what? My fault. I misunderstood what you meant, and I should have. That was a very woman-like of me. All right.
Yeah, truly.
So they're hiding. They get married. Some suggestions that Reed was the one who killed her brother's murderer, and that's why she decides to break bad and marry someone in the gang. So I don't know if he killed. People just say that because of her promise from before. But let's say it's true, because that's what we're doing here. Everything's true in this story. Up to this point, she's pretty much a spoiled, famous, rich girl. It's what she is. I know she probably just had a thing for a bad boy, but I like the story more if James Reed just killed the guy who killed her brother, so that we're going with that. Some say that the reason she broke bad was out of necessity. She apparently married Reed within 24 hours of re-meeting him, and her parents refused to acknowledge their horseback justice of the peace wedding, which they just wanted a ceremony. They didn't care that he was a gang member. Just, we don't want you to, you can't just go just the peace here. So Belle got cut off and forced to live with gangsters now forced to move with him.
How old is she at this point?
She's 18, I believe.
Old maid.
1866. Yeah, she was born. Yeah, she's 18 years old. Yeah, pretty much old maid for them. So Belle and Reed both moved back to Missouri, leaving her family ranch behind. The next thing that we know for sure is that 2 years later, they had their first child, Rosie Lee Reed.
Oh.
We know Jim Reed went full criminal and supported his family that way, but to what extent is completely unknown to me. I tried. I know he was a part of a gang, like he was helping out a guy named Tom Starr, which is another famous gangster from back then. And he'll be a little bit more relevant to the story in a little bit. But he was just used to smuggle whiskey into Indian territory.
Okay.
Myra loved her daughter so much, she was so precious that she called her her little Pearl. And that's what ended up being what Rosie's little nickname was. She was Pearl for the rest of her life. No one really knows what for sure what Belle did for during the 2 years in between, but a lot of suggestions say that she went back to entertaining. And he would say that she would travel the 10 miles every night to Dallas to entertain the Cowboys at night. Since she traveled at weird times, she started to protect herself. She would carry 2 pistols around her waist wherever she went. She also had a strong sense of style. She was always wearing a big black velvet dress and a bunch of fun hats with ostrich feathers in them. And she would sit side saddle and travel wherever she went, just shooting anybody that got in her way. I shouldn't say shooting everyone, just threatening. She wasn't like super hardcore yet. She ran a stable in Dallas. She got like a livery, you said. This is also when she got involved with the Starr Gang. The Starr Gang was known for not only whiskey smuggling, they're also known for horse thievery. And Belle owned a horse stable, like a stable, so it seemed like a good fit. More on that in a little bit. With her guns and fame, she had the confidence of a million gangsters. One of the doctors in Dallas was complaining to the innkeeper that Belle was there entertaining every night. Like, this is a place for men. Women shouldn't be in here every night at this inn. This is a man's place.
No girls allowed.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking nerdy ass doctor. Actually, doctors were probably just super. He's probably like, no girls allowed unless they're dead, so I can pick them apart. Because doctors were so fucking creepy back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to listen to this podcast called Sawbones. It was both the old school doctors, and oh my fucking god. Anyways, I don't want to get into it, but Jesus Christ, the things they thought would fix someone. When she heard about the doctor's complaints, she stopped his wagon on the street at gunpoint and forced him out of the wagon. With a gun to the doctor's head, she told him to lift the horse's tail and kiss what he sees. The doctor kissed the asshole of a horse instead of dying by Belle's gun. And then Belle leaves him on a badass Western line, which is, quote, the next time you have complaints about me or my lifestyle, doctor, make them to me. Yeah, she made a doctor kiss an asshole of a horse. That's phenomenal.
That is pretty cool.
Her husband, James Reed, was rarely home. He was a gambler. He loved to gamble. He was always up in Fort Smith betting on the horses. Horses he would bring himself from his wife's livery. In 1869 in Fort Smith, Arkansas, James murders a man who killed his brother, and he had a warrant out for his arrest. Federal marshals were out looking for him. And the couple has to leave Missouri again to avoid the law. The new family left and ended up in California. They bought themselves a plot of land with an orchard. And while living in California, the Reeds had another child named James Edwin Reed, born in 1871. And James Edwin, his nickname was Eddie.
Ah.
They only stayed in California until the heat died down, but it didn't die down. Reed was recognized by local Californian authorities, and they skipped town again. Instead of going somewhere else, they moved back to Texas, near her parents, and they convinced Belle's parents to give them a piece of their land to live on. Reed was still scared because he had warrants, so he traveled to Oklahoma, which was called Indian Territory back then. He could help smuggle more whiskey and stay in Indian Territory to avoid capture. The couple only meet up at night for secret rendezvous. And I guess in Indian Territory, the Native American people had their own laws, and many outlaws went there to hide. It wasn't just him, it was many people. And this is when James Reed becomes reassociated with the Starr clan. The Starr clan, I talked about them quickly earlier, they were a Cherokee family, notorious for whiskey smuggling, cattle, and horse thievery. For the next couple of years, people think that Belle went back to her livery business in Dallas again and worked with the Starr gang again. They'd steal horses, she would buy them. She was never actually linked to any criminal activity until the end of 1873, which would have been make her 25. 3 men dressed in all black invaded the house of a guy named Walt Grayson, the retired judge. The assailants tied ropes around the necks of Grayson and his wife and threatened to hang them if they didn't tell them where the Graysons were hiding all their money. They robbed this poor guy for over $30,000 of their time money, which is outrageous amount. I didn't even look. It's over $500,000, if not more. The police immediately picked out James Reed as one of the assailants. He was obvious. He was a known robber and had a normal physical appearance, like brown hair, beard, big nose. That's how they described him. Could have been anyone, but Reed was a robber, so probably him. The other two were a mystery to the authorities. Belle is said to be one of the people dressed as a man again, helping out with the robbery. Belle was such a badass with her pistols and shooting skills that she probably could have been her. Like I said, no proof, but I'm erasing all that. There's proof now. It's historically accurate.
I liked how you started this episode with like, these are all real stories. And you're like, you know what? They're all probably made up. But we don't care. We're just pretending.
That's what I mean. That's the whole thing. Yeah. A lot of people say it's not real. It is real. I'm just telling you. When you go read up on this and they tell you it's probably not true, it is true. I'm just confirming it. Belle was called to testify in court about the robbery a few years later, and she told the court everything she knew. Not sure if what she said was true, but she claimed that her husband was involved in the robbery and she knew everything about it, but she was most certainly not there. Like, I know everything about this, but I wasn't there, court. And this is after her husband's dead. Her husband dies very soon, but like, she got called to court and she said, yeah, it was all him. I didn't do anything. I was just, they brought me, they told me they were going to bring me, then they left me, and I kind of like watched from a distance. Like, fuck this, she's awesome. She goes to court, she has balls. She's fucking amazing.
Like, actually, she has someone's balls.
I would imagine.
That
Yes,
awesome.
sorry, I said I would imagine. My fault. She does have someone's balls.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
And,
I'm glad you found the proof while we were talking about
yeah,
it.
exactly. In April 1874, Jim Reed and another couple unknown gentlemen tried to hold up a stagecoach delivering mail in San Antonio. Jim Reed was recognized as the leader of the gang, and this robbery earned him a $7,000 price on his head. The robbery was her husband's doing this time for sure. Belle was not involved in the least, but people started to say that she drove all the way to San Antonio dressed up like a man to be part of the robbery. This what I'm saying is not true because she says it's not true. She specifically says it's not true. So after this robbery, her and Jim Reed separated. Belle was pissed. She goes back to her parents' house in Syene with the kids. Her dad had told her after that she had to leave Jim Reed for good. Belle didn't want to make it so permanent. She was just like leaving him to like prove a point. Like, he's the father of my kids. You know what I mean? He was best friends with Bud. It's like a part of my life. He's still important to me. I can't cut him off completely. So her dad shoved her in a closet, locked her in, and told her she couldn't come out until she relented. As soon as you say you're never going to see Jim Reed again, you can get out of this closet. Belle is in that closet for 2 weeks with her kids, like little toddler children, running around asking where mommy is. She's just like, I'm in the closet. And the kids just, I guess, grandma and grandpa are like, she deserves this. She'll get out when she relents. She lasts 2 weeks before she tells her dad, yeah, I won't see Jim anymore. It doesn't really matter if she meant it because Jim doesn't really survive much longer. After she left for the 2 weeks, Jim said, you know what? Fuck Belle. I don't really care anyway. And he finds a new girlfriend named Rosa McComas. McComas, after that stagecoach robbery, is interviewed by the police and she's let go after they find nothing. It's actually the old school police tactic where they're like, yeah, just let her go and we'll just follow her. She'll go right to Jim Reed. They do it. They follow her to one of Reed's cousins named John Morris. And they actually knew John Morris was his cousin. And the police went to John Morris and went, hey, I know like you have a cousin who's a piece of shit. We're just going to deputize you. You want to be a cop? So we're going to put you undercover, basically. Your cousin's going to come here. And yeah, I know he's coming.
Wow, American policing was such a much more rigorous screening process back then.
Yeah. This Morris guy's like, yeah, sure, for sure. If I catch him, do I get the bounty? And they're like, yeah, for sure. It's dead or alive, $7,000. So
Damn, that's a lot of back then money.
for sure. Police wait and they storm the Morris property. Reed is actually close by in the woods and he hears the scuffle and he gets away. So he doesn't actually get caught. And Morris is like, I thought I was going to get him. But Morris runs into Reed again a couple months later in August. So just like 3 or 4 months later. And then Morris is like, oh, wait, you still got that bounty on your head. So he tries to bring his cousin in peacefully. But Jim Reed's not going down peacefully. He tries to run and Morris just shoots him in the back. And he does cash in the $7,000 bounty, which Good for him, I guess. Try to rob mail from a stagecoach, kill that guy. Belle's actually brought in later to identify her husband's body, but Belle tells the police that the man who Morris killed was not her ex-husband, so you shouldn't give him the bounty. She just said that so she was so mad at Morris for actually like setting him up that she was just like, "You're not getting the fucking bounty, fuck you." Cops didn't believe her, and Morris still gets the bounty anyway. After his death, Belle's journals are discovered, and she claims to have hunted down Morris herself and killed him. So that's fun. So she found Morris later on and just said, "You killed my husband." She does a lot of stuff for people she liked that got killed. After the whole stagecoach robbery thing, the people of Dallas and Syene had had enough of Belle Reed. People who lived there started writing letters to the governor trying to force Belle out of the area. I just love that that was a thing. Do you think someone could just write a letter and kick you out of the area? Like, do you think someone could just?
It depends on who you are, I think. Like if you're like a wealthy and established white person, no. If you are an immigrant family, you don't even have to pay for the postage. They'll fucking yank your ass right out of there.
I guess that's true. So people are starting to write the governor. She isn't just involved in the criminal activities of her husband. She's being a bitch to everyone around too. That's one of the big problems. She's threatening to burn down shops of people who are saying nasty stuff about her. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll fucking burn down your entire fucking livelihood." She's doing shit like that, which I love. I find that amazing.
I mean, like, I was joking earlier, obviously, to make a point, but I sincerely mean it. If I was a woman in that time, I would also be threatening to burn everything down.
Oh, 100%.
I,
I feel like
I,
you'd get hung, but or hanged.
yeah, that's fine. Do it. I don't care. Put me out of my fucking misery. Jesus Christ.
It's
Everything
true.
probably stinks and I get treated like shit nonstop.
Yeah. No,
Fuck
she's
that. If I can take a few like buildings and like sets of eyes out with me, I'm happy.
like people are at the point in this town where they're writing the governor being like, not just like get her out of here. They're like, do you mind if we just kill her? Like, do you care if we just take the law into our own hands, just kill this lady? And then she'd go around telling people, oh yeah, fuck you. I have 25 men at my disposal that'll annihilate the entire town of Syene if I deem it necessary. Like that's what she's telling. Like that's how fucking awesome this chick is. Fuck
That
you.
rips.
Yeah, she's fucking badass. So she sticks around the Dallas and Syene area for another year or so until April 28th, 1875, when Belle's indicted by a grand jury in Dallas for setting a store on fire, like a store lit on fire. And they're like, well, it must have been her because she was threatening to do it.
She's a woman of her word.
Yeah, she did it. Her bail was set at $2,500 of their money time, which is funny that she burned down someone's entire livelihood versus mail theft, and one of them gets you a fucking dead or alive on your head for $7,000 or bail for $2,500 for actually burning something. I find that anyway.
I mean, it's still kind of that way because like the federal government will like murder you if you fuck with their shit, but like if you get drunk and kill a child with your car, you won't spend the rest of your life in prison
That's
probably.
true. Like you actually like molest a child, you go to jail for like 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, but don't molest the male.
Don't
Don't you
molest,
dare.
don't touch my mail, motherfucker.
Yeah, touch all the children you want.
Not the stagecoach with the fucking
Yeah,
postcards from California. Get the fuck out
yeah.
of here.
Gets you keep your filthy fingers out of my envelopes. Go place those in somewhere inside of a kindergarten where
They,
it's safe.
which is, what's even funnier? They say like when I was doing research, they're saying that $2,500 for burning down someone's a bail for that is like an outrageous amount. It was like super high for what it should have actually been, but since it's Belle, they were like trying to run her out of town anyway. So it should have even been lower, which is fucking funny.
That's crazy.
But she pays the bail, gets out, says fuck you guys, and then in August is like the straw that breaks the camel's back. She's charged with stealing a horse, which was a fucking serious crime back then. You can get shot, you can get killed. Like that's a executable crime, stealing someone's horse back in those days. And it's not surprising that she was like stealing horses. She had the livery and she was involved with the Star Gang. It's not like this big mystery, but they finally charged her with it. But the funny thing is, both those charges were eventually dropped, and Belle saw that as her like, I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving. So she moves into Indian Territory in 1876. Since the Cherokee Nation were given the right to set up their own legal system, within what is now Oklahoma and Arkansas. It was a hub for outlaws trying to escape American law. Federal officers could go into Indian territory to get these outlaws if they wanted, but they rarely did because they were shot at.
Just say pussies.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, when she got there, the laws were starting to change. Like people were like the native people were starting to lose their. What do you guys? You guys still say Indian in America? We can't say that's super racist. Here it's like indigenous.
So it depends. You kind of just go with like what the person would prefer, and some people do prefer Indian, but other people prefer Native American, other people prefer Native, other people prefer indigenous people. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, you can't say Indian here at all. Nobody likes that here at all. Indigenous. It makes me feel weird saying it, but it was called Indian territory at the time. It doesn't, that's what it was called. I'm not like being racist.
I mean, they should just be called original Americans.
Yeah, exactly. OG Americans. Like, actually, they should be called Americans. You should be called like not Americans.
Yeah, European Americans.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it should be. European Americans or like British Americans or Spanish Americans. Anyways,
Yeah. Thieves.
colonizers.
Yeah.
So laws are changing. The indigenous people or native people or Indian people, whatever people want to be called, I don't care. They were Arkansas and Oklahoma were starting to become more like they wanted to clean it up in there. So they had a new federal judge that wanted to clean up Arkansas as soon as Belle Starr moved there. His name was they called him the hanging judge because of so many death sentences he's doled out. And it's just for the unethical listeners out there. It's not Judge Roy Bean, the other hanging judge we covered on Unethical. This guy's name was Judge Isaac C. Parker. He was a federal judge in Arkansas for over 21 years and gave out by far the most death sentences. As a judge, he sentenced over 160 people to death. And that's like 7 or whatever a year, almost more, a little bit more than 7 a year. That's a lot.
Damn. Really just cranking them out.
Yeah, like you get to die. You get to die. Belle's up there in Arkansas. She's spending her life. She's doing her horse thievery thing. She's getting into the crime stuff. In 1880, Belle was right into horse racing. She bred the horses. She bet on horses. There's a wicked story in 1880 where she bet a wealthy businessman from Arkansas named John Hargrove. She bet him $500 that her horse would beat his. Hargrove handedly wins. And he laughs. He's like, well, this is the famous Belle Starr with all your super good horses. I just smoked you, no problem. And
Nice.
Belle was known for all the best horses. Like it's not if you could beat a Belle horse, your horse's value went up a shit ton too. So like not only did you win $500, your horse is now doubled in its value, right? He was up $500 and a more valuable horse. So Belle did the classic thing like, I want a rematch. And Hargrove was wary about the whole thing because he's like, you're fucking with me here. I did just beat you. I don't need to beat you again. She wanted to bet $5,000 this time instead of 500, and she proposed that whoever won got to keep the other person's horse. So that's how she sweetened the deal. So Hargrove's like, okay, whatever. It's easy money, I guess. Let's do this. I gotta get a new horse out of this. Belle, problem was she played him the whole time. She made her jockey throw the match the last time so she could win the rematch. She smokes him the second time, no problem. She got 10 times the amount of money she lost, and she got a horse that was worth 10 times the amount it was before it lost to a Belle horse. So
Nice.
yeah, she's just robbing people with horse racing, which is cool. The same year, 1880, now 32-year-old Belle marries a 27-year-old guy named Bruce Younger of the James Younger gang.
Sounds like the biographer got a little lazy.
Why?
32-year-old Belle marries a younger man named
Bruce Younger.
Bruce, younger than her. No, just younger.
Now, these younger people are real. He's part of that James Younger gang, which is highly fucking reported about. Cole Younger was part of Reed's little gang and introduced Bruce to Belle years before. Belle, there's a story, and this is true. Belle forced Bruce Younger into marriage at gunpoint. She put a gun to his fucking head and said, "You're marrying me, motherfucker."
Wow.
Yeah. There's another story that she only married Bruce because he was the one who killed her brother's murderer, and that's the only reason she married him. Bruce Younger was the guy who went out and killed the Union guy who killed her brother.
Nice.
Either way, it doesn't matter why she married him. The marriage didn't last long. Bruce ran off after 3 weeks. Probably didn't want a scary ass wife like Belle. She was fucking awesome. She was so scary with guns and shit. He was probably like, oh my God, this chick is fucking wild.
Just wakes up in the middle of the night, her sitting in a chair, cleaning it and staring at him in the dark.
Oh God. 3 weeks after that, on June 5th, 1880, Belle marries again, this time to a guy named Sam Starr. Sam Starr was 24 years old at the time. Belle was still 32, so 8 years older. Sam Starr's father was the founder of the Starr Gang, Tom Starr. So after marrying Sam Starr, her and her children moved deeper into Indian Territory and moved north of the Canadian River. They picked a spot and built themselves a little house. They were only allowed to build a place there because Sam was Cherokee and you had to be Cherokee to build a house in Indian Territory. They named the new place where they lived Younger's Bend, which I find kind of hilarious because you think Sam Starr was just like, hey, Belle, don't you think maybe we could call it Star Bend? Not after your ex-husband, Younger? Like, why don't we call it Star Bend? She must have been obsessed with Brucey Boy. That's why she put a gun to his head. You will marry me. He's like, I don't like you though. You're like, I don't like you at all. I'll name a bend after you. But I'm just joking. Honestly, Belle loves Sam Starr. I feel like out of her 4 marriages, Sam Starr was the one that she actually liked. When they first got married, this is the happier time in Belle's life. He kind of reminded of her brother in a way. Like he was crazy, fearless, fun, liked to shoot, liked to do just robberies and shit. Like her brother was the same way. Belle goes back to being an entertainer. She's playing the piano again. She would entertain in churches, barn dances, other various social affairs. Her trouble was the hanging judge, Judge Parker. She was trying to keep on the straight and edge because she didn't want to get fucking hanged. But Belle had a reputation of being a horse thief and a gunslinger when she was with James Reed, so it's hard for her to get that. Parker had her in her sights. So her and Sam at Younger's Bend do a lot less crime stuff. I would say less, not none. He still ran whiskey and pulled off small robberies, but nothing to the extent Jim Reed was into when she was married to him. She was actually feeling like she's part of the community in a way, in a positive way, not just like, get out of Mike's town, like, you fucking idiot. Even though she wasn't caught committing many crimes, Belle would still attend court a lot, Parker's court. She'd be there paying legal fees for poor Native American people who couldn't afford a good defense. Judge Parker respected her for this, even said it, even though he still thought of her as an enemy. Since she rode around all stylish in her black velvet dress, 2 pistols at her side, bailing out poor native outlaws, the paper started to call her the Bandit Queen. And she loved that moniker. She was all about it. Outlaws were actually looked up to in a way back in the American South. And I never really understood why. Like, you know that too, right? Like, outlaws were like, everyone's like, yeah, the outlaws are robbing the trains and shit. But it's because of
Yeah.
racism. It's because, like, it was a bunch of Confederate dudes that hated the fucking new government. They hated the fucking Union government, so they just went and like rallied against the government. And all these racist guys are like, "Yeah, you give it to those fucking assholes. We don't like them. They don't respect. I don't respect this northern government." So it's like they all love the outlaws because they're fucking racists. You know what I mean? Like it's just they wanted slaves and they loved the guys that were. Anyways, I didn't never really thought of it that way. I never understood why do you love outlaws so much? Oh, because you hated the new government from after the Civil War. Oh, because you're racist. Anyways, so Belle became famous in a new way. She's being called the female Jesse James. Parker's still out to get her, even more now that the papers are like glorifying her fucking outlaw life. And he does get her in 1882. In September 21st, she was finally formally charged with horse thievery along with her husband Sam Starr. And like I said, you could definitely get hanged back then for stealing a horse. And they're both terrified they were going to get fucking hanged by George Parker. Worst part about this story, though, for real, Belle didn't even steal a horse this time. She stole many horses, not this one. Sam had actually gotten into a fight with a guy. I could only find his name was West. Just West. So Sam gets in a fight with this guy named West, beats his fucking ass in the middle of the street. So after publicly losing this fight to Sam Starr, West steals 2 horses. And then Belle not knowing that her husband just beat the fuck out of this guy in the middle of the street. He brings those 2 horses to her livery, and sells them at a low, low price, very cheap for these horses. So she buys them, whatever. And someone easily reports these 2 horses as being missing, and yeah, they get arrested. She's like,
She knew what she was doing. He didn't have any papers.
I don't know. Did you have papers for horses? It'd probably be a brand.
Sure as fuck did, dude. You fucking, if it's that big of a crime to steal one, you'd think they had at least something indicating that you owned it.
I would see branding, right? That would be
No,
my
no,
guess.
because branding was for cattle for breeders, like and ranchers and stuff, to say that that's their
Okay,
stock.
fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. She knew she was stealing or buying stolen horses, but she didn't steal it this time. But anyways, it doesn't matter. She got fucking caught.
No,
She got
yeah.
arrested. Yeah, she told the cops, she's like, it was West, but West stole them. And West is like, I ain't do nothing. And the fact that Sam Starr was native, I would say, Native American, and Belle had a reputation of being a bandit queen, they believe West version of the story.
Hmm.
And after trial on March 19th, 1883, the hanging judge sentenced both Sam and Belle to death by hanging. 2 months later, they're both hanged. Story over. Just kidding. Parker didn't kill these two, which he actually just sentenced her and Sam to a year in prison in Detroit, which I found funny. So go out to go to Detroit with time served, so they could get out in 9 months with good behavior. Pearl and Eddie, who were 14, 11 at this time, were sent to live with relatives. Belle and Sam got out the same day and headed back to Younger's Bend. They picked up Pearl and Eddie along the way. There's also a version of the story where Belle was the model prisoner and got out a little bit earlier than Sam, and Sam was the nightmare in prison and got hard labor. She got out first, and 3 months later he followed. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Belle's 35 at this point, 9 months in jail. Sam's 28. And they went back to the little life on the Bend. They had 22 cats exactly, big garden full of fresh vegetables. Problem for Belle was that now she's full on famous, even more famous than what she was before. When she went to jail, it like hyped up her even more, upped her cred. So Belle starts to gamble a lot. She starts to go to taverns and stuff. She became like a professional gambler. She played poker with many a men, won much money so many times. She built a posse in the saloon, the Fort Smith. She would kept going to Fort Smith Tavern. She built a posse, leading her own gang of thieves. Because of her infamy, Younger's Bend became a well-known safe house for fugitives and outlaws. Younger's Bend was the perfect hiding spot, being nestled between thick forest and deep canyons for people to hide. So, her and her gang of thieves were stealing livestock and robbing passersby. There's a story about her hiding a guy named John or Jim Middleton. It's different in both places. He'd actually burnt down a courthouse and been put in jail for that. Middleton had escaped and went to the outlaw oasis, Younger Bend. He had a $500 bounty on his head for burning down a courthouse. Male, 7,000. 500 for burning down a courthouse. I'm just saying, these fucking on your head bounties are weird. It's so random.
Yeah. I mean, like, also, like, a courthouse today is probably very different from a courthouse back then. It was probably actually just someone's house that court was in sometimes.
Yeah, it could be. Still, it's just mail. Like you're just
Yeah.
taking mail. You're not like burning down an entire house and you get like 10 times the amount of bounty. It's crazy to me. But yeah, that didn't stop Belle from helping him out. She helped out a lot of people. So the authorities hear that Middleton was hanging out with the Stars and got authority from the Cherokee people to raid Younger's Bend. The cops go there, they find nothing, and Belle, being the bitch that she is, I love her so much. She just starts taunting the cops. You guys fucking suck at your job, you pieces of shit. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You guys are the worst dumbass fucking cops. She knew they wouldn't find anything, so she was happy to let them in because she had given Middleton a horse and some guns to escape earlier that day. Unfortunately, Middleton didn't make it far. He died by drowning not long after the escape. Belle had gotten Eddie, her 12-year-old or whatever at this point, to go buy Middleton a horse. And Eddie fucked up and bought the worst horse of all time. Stupid thing was blind and old. It couldn't even cross a river that most horses could have crossed. And Middleton died.
This stupid fucking horse.
He died trying
Couldn't
to
cross a river.
but he died trying to make this old ass horse, old blind ass horse, trying to cross a river and drown. Like that's amazing. So after hearing about the death of Middleton, she rode to where his family was, where he was buried, and demanded that the family dig him up because Middleton was buried with her guns and she wants her 3 guns back. So Belle gets them to dig up fucking Middleton, claimed her guns, and she got him. And she continued this lifestyle for a couple more years of just banditry through the bushes. Police couldn't prove anything. They were trying to get her. Sam was identified as a robber who held up another U.S. mail wagon on June 15th, 1885. There's no evidence that it was Sam, but they started following him hardcore after this. They would just drop by Younger's Bend every once in a while, try to catch Sam at home. Fortunately for him, he was smart and hid in the forest area around the cabin all the time. He would just be out in the forest. One time, Belle knew they were coming. They show up and Belle invites them in for dinner. They were hungry. She's like, come on in. Come on in. They're super hungry, so they accepted the meal. She puts it in front of them. She has a plate in front of herself. They just gobble it up. They're fucking starving. And then they look up and they notice Belle hadn't eaten a bite. After they were good and full, she told them that they had just eaten rattlesnake. And the cops were super pissed. And they were said to be barfing after and puking just out of like, I fucking love it. And this kept actually the cops at bay for a while. They just stopped.
Is that how your parents got that skin?
Yeah. The snake skin. My parents were eating fucking garter snake.
They fed snake hot dogs to the cops, the Mounties, when they visited. And they were like, you know who would love this skin? Our granddaughter.
Yeah, Molly, for science. Science. Yeah, so this kept the cops. They didn't want to. I just love that it's a fun story. It doesn't really do much. It's just a fun story that, like, just showing how the Bandit Queen gets everyone. Fuck everyone. After the rattlesnake, they just abandoned trying to catch Sam, like, just dropping by. Belle's 38 now, free of police. Until about the new year, she catches another coarse thievery charge on January 6th, 1886. She pleads not guilty, posts her bond, and gets back on the streets like a crackhead gets nowadays. The next month, there's another robbery. This time, one of the victims claims that one of the three men that held her up for $40, a pistol, and their horse was not a man at all. It was Belle, dressed up like a dude again.
Damn.
Yeah, for $40.
So Belle was trans, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, sure. Just maybe just to cross-dress, like maybe just like to do drag.
Nah, she just didn't realize it yet. They didn't have a thing for it back then.
Yeah, she's drag king. That's what they call them, right? Females that do drag into men.
No, they call it female to male trans, but
okay, she's trans. I'm cool with it. Should I say they instead of she this whole time? I don't know anymore.
He.
He? Let's go with he.
Yeah. Well, only if her biographer said that that's how she likes to identify. Otherwise, you can't just.
Yeah,
choose.
the 1911 biographer didn't really take pronouns into consideration, I don't think.
Well, didn't really do his job then.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking loser.
I know.
What kind of reporting is that?
I'm reporting him. I'm calling the governor.
Oh, you better. Yeah, I bet Texas Governor Greg Abbott would be all over how he didn't use pronouns. Probably wheel himself right down to that fucking.
They're in Arkansas right now. Younger's Bend's in Arkansas. They left Texas a while ago. So the Arkansas one is very reasonable, I'm sure. I don't know who the governor is, but I'm sure he's very reasonable.
Yeah, fucking 50-second education, Arkansas.
So Belle's got these guys start to try and charge her with this fucking robbery. Belle hides out at Younger's Bend until June when she's starting to get sick. Like she's older now. Like she's not old, but she's 36 years old. You got to stop getting arrested by cops. So she goes and turns herself in. She's like, fuck it. I'm just going to go admit to it. I'm going to go turn myself in. Sorry, they're hunting for me. I'm not going to admit to it. I plead not guilty. That's what she does in court. She brings a half dozen people who claim that she wasn't at robbing this person out. She was at a barn dance. She was playing piano like she always does. She never rob anybody with a pistol and a horse. And the witnesses that said that it was her changed their story in court, saying that all three robbers were big boys and couldn't have been Belle. She was way too small for that. I love it. I just love how she intimidated the fuck out of whoever that was. Sam Starr, on the other hand, still a fugitive. Remember, he's still Native American. She still has being white on her side and a woman. So that kind of stuff, like, they're going to drop
That's
it.
true.
For the Native American, not so much. On September 16th, 1886, he was spotted by the cops riding around on Belle's prized horse, Venus. Officer Frank West, I don't know if this is the same West as before, but it's Officer Frank West, chased him down as soon as he saw him. Sam fled. Officer West starts to shoot at the fleeing Sam on his horse, killing Venus. Sam still manages to get away and head back to Younger's Bend. There's another version of the story where Sam actually gets caught by the police and escapes by killing all the men who are guarding him. I like that story better. So he got caught and killed a shit ton of cops that were just trying to guard him. Belle's starting to get sick of this stuff. Killing federal marshals is no joke. So by late October, early November 1886, Belle convinces Sam to turn himself in. They head to Fort Smith and do just that. His court date was not set for another 10 months. So they post bail. They decide, let's go have some fun. We're in town right now. They stick around town because it was a Christmas fair. It was the end of November, early November. It was a Christmas fair going on. At the fair, they had what was described as a mock stagecoach robbery where Belle was the leader of the mock robbers, and one of the passengers in this fake stagecoach was the hanging Judge Parker himself. What a weird thing to have happened. Like, what a weird, odd detail that exists in the world.
Yeah.
Belle was also a known trick shooter. She was really good with her pistols, and she did some trick shots on the back of a horse to an adoring crowd. The Bandit Queen's here. She's showing off her guns. Always performing. In December 1886, Belle and Sam attend a Christmas dance, one where Officer West also attended. Officer West was on Belle's shit list for killing Venus. She fucking loved Venus. Venus was her favorite horse. So, being the Bandit Queen and an infamous Starr, they decide they're going to go confront the police officer at a dance. So,
Like some eighth graders. We'll see you at the dance.
And they confront this guy. It quickly escalates into a shootout. Within minutes, both Sam and Officer West were dead of gunshot wounds. Sam Starr dies then. She loved Sam Starr. She was devastated by his death. This death also left her with a new problem, a different problem. Sam Starr was Cherokee. Younger's Bend was in Cherokee territory, part of Sam's family's land. Sam's birthright, if you will. Without being Cherokee herself, Belle was facing eviction. So what will a 39-year-old desperate bandit queen do? She finds a husband of Cherokee descent. She knew a guy that loved her, or at least wanted her. His name was Jim July. July was Sam's cousin, therefore his birthright as well. Jim July was far younger than Belle. He was 24 years old. She was 39.
Damn.
But she's famous, and he loved her. I'm sure he looked up to that right away. She quickly marries him in early 1887 just to keep her property, because she does not like Jim July. She actually kind of hates Jim July. Neither Eddie nor Pearl liked Jim July at all either. They were closer to his age than their mother was. They were supposed to treat him like a stepdaddy, though. Like, he was the boss of the house. They were 19 and 17. Jim July was treated like shit by Belle. She was known to publicly degrade him, condescend him, talk to him like she was his mom. Belle and Eddie had a strained relationship. Eddie's her son, the 17-year-old this time. There's reports that Belle used to beat Eddie. Eddie seems dumb and buys the most half-dead horses when they need good horses for the simple task of, like, getting rid of some fucking bandits that are on their property. One time, Eddie wanted to go to town, so he asked Belle to borrow a horse. Belle says no. Eddie takes it anyway. When he gets home, she beat him so badly he needed medical attention. Eddie was 18.
Fuck. That's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like an 18-year-old boy should have been able to beat a 39-year-old Belle up, but that's just me. Maybe not. Rich kids. He was still a rich kid. Pearl and Belle didn't have much better relationship. I'm sure Belle beat her as well. There's no real stories about that, but there's different stories. So Pearl falls in love with a boy she went to school with, a boy named Robert McClure. And McClure asked Belle for Pearl's hand in marriage, and Belle told him to kick rocks. Pearl needs a rich husband. Belle told him, quote, someone with $25,000 or more at least. Do you have $25,000 or more? And McClure did not. So to ensure that McClure would break up with Pearl, Belle sends Pearl to live with her grandparents in Missouri. While Pearl is away, Belle forges a letter to McClure saying that she left with another guy, and she married him. So McClure is like, oh, I guess she didn't like me that much, backs down, eventually finds another wife, and never sees Pearl again. There's a problem here, though. Pearl was already pregnant when she sent her away with McClure's kid. While in Missouri, after finding out about her mother's betrayal, Pearl cuts off all communication with her mother. Belle reacts to this by telling Pearl that she wasn't allowed to come back to Younger's Bend anyway with a kid. You keep your kid there. So their relationship was strained. Pearl has a baby in April 1887, and she names her Flossie. Flossie. What the fuck kind of stupid name is that? What the fuck kind of hillbilly hick 1890 fucking name is that? Flossie fucking Starr. What the fuck is going on?
That's brutal.
So,
Fuck.
Eddie gets shot in October 1887 trying to steal a horse. These people love stealing horses. After being shot, Belle uses this as a way to get her daughter and new granddaughter back home. She calls on Pearl, exaggerating Eddie's injuries so she would feel obligated to come see her brother before he dies. And that's what Pearl does. Eddie was going to be fine, by the way. Eddie was not really shot that bad. He was shot, but like not dead, deathly. But Pearl leaves Flossie back in Missouri when she takes the trip back to Indian Territory. So when Belle hears about Pearl leaving Flossie with her aunt, Belle convinces Pearl's aunt to put Flossie up for adoption, which her aunt does. She puts the little girl Flossie up for adoption, and Pearl never sees Flossie again. And that's not a joke.
Okay.
Like, that is some fucking spiteful shit. That is like, fuck you. I told you you can't come back here with a baby. Wow. Pearl ends up not going back to Missouri, just staying at Younger's Bend to be with Eddie, who is needing a friendly face more and more. And Belle and Pearl never make up after this ever at all. In late 1888 or early 1889, Jim July is charged with, guess what?
Rape.
Horse theft. Almost.
Oh, so worse.
Yeah, yeah, in those standards for sure. It goes like horse thievery, mail theft, arson, and then rape. Back in 1889. Belle agrees. She tells the police that I'm going to testify against my husband, Jim July. Don't worry, I got you, cops. So she agrees to testify against him, which that's how much she hates Jim July. Fuck this guy. Just to get him out of the house and she could still keep the fucking property. So on February 2nd, 1889, Belle heads to Fort Smith with Jim July to attend his horse theft trial. On the way, they end up staying at some friend's house. I don't know if there's a conversation had here between Jim and Belle about like, why are you embarrassing me? Why are you going to charge, like going to court and testifying against me? What are you doing? But when they get up in the morning, Belle decides to head home and not further humiliate her husband in court. Jim heads towards Fort Smith to face the court. While en route back to Younger's Bend, Belle stops at the house of a guy named Jackson Rowe. Jackson was known to have guests every Sunday, and I guess she wanted to be social that day or go play piano or something fun. She said it was busy when she gets there. Eddie had apparently just left the party at the row house just before Belle had shown up. Belle had issue with another one of her neighbors named Edgar Watson. Watson was also at the row house party on that Sunday. Watson was hammered, and as soon as he saw Belle arrive, he asked Belle to dance. She declines, and he got a little handsy with the Bandit Queen. She rebuffed him again, and this time he stormed out of the party. Belle spent an hour and a half at the party, decides to head back to Younger's Bend. On her last leg of the trip, she stopped at a creek to give her horse a little hydration at a creek. Then she hears a shot in the distance, and very soon after, she had a sharp pain in her back. She was shot in the back from behind, and then whoever shot her ran up close to her and shot her again, this time on the left-hand side of her face. So on February 3rd, 1889, 2 days before her 41st birthday, and after many close calls with the police and death, Belle Starr is shot dead by an unknown assailant. So today, we're supposed to figure out who killed this lady almost 140 years ago. Got any theory?
A horse.
Quit
A
stealing
horse
me.
that-
It's the same
yeah,
horse. They
yeah,
keep
it
stealing the
was-
same horse
yeah.
over and over.
It's like you've taken all of my friends, all of my family.
It's like,
And finally, after all these years, I've figured out how to operate a gun.
it's the John Wick of horses. Just like
Yeah.
that's a very good theory. I like it. I didn't
John
see-
Kick.
That's John Kick is my fucking. That's my winner one so far. I'll tell you that there's only two theories in this one, so I'm
Alright.
I'm going with that one. But I'm going to tell you the other theories. Maybe I can convince you otherwise.
All right, we'll hear these much worse theories.
Actually, sorry, there's three theories I forgot. So there's one's Edgar Watson, the guy I just told you about last minute in the episode. I said that
Okay.
he was at the party, Mr. Hansy. I also said that they had beef. I didn't really tell you what the beef was. It was many things, but Belle was kind of a bitch, hard to be around. I'm telling you that much. They argued about many things. They actually rented a little plot of the land on Younger's Bend and had their own little house there. One of the things that Belle argued with Watson was Watson's wife. I guess Belle found out that Watson's wife was a wanted lady in Florida, and he was trying to hide that from her. She's like, "Why are you fucking hiding that shit from me? I'd help you more. Stop hiding that stuff." So apparently she'd killed someone there, and that's why
Oh.
they're in Indian Territory, avoiding the hangman's noose. And when Belle found out, she threatened to expose them to the authorities. If you don't like, fuck you. Another piece of evidence that links the Watsons to her death was that where she was found murdered was very nearby the Watsons' house. Watson was questioned for the murder, but released due to lack of evidence. He claims he did hear gunshots that night, but only came outside when he heard them, not before. I only came out after, not before.
No.
So threatening to expose your wife for murder to the police, that's a good reason. Like, you'd get killed for that for sure. Is it compelling or fun? No, it's not. Fucking horse John Kick is way more compelling and way more fun. So I like that one better.
Cool.
Jim July killed his wife. That's the second theory. Belle was such a bitch, and her new husband was a victim of this too. Maybe he was just so mad that she was going to testify against him that he finally just snapped. He was supposed to be 60 miles away in Fort Smith the night it happened, but I can't find whatever happened to his horse case. Did he even make it to court that day? Maybe he convinced her to go back home only to follow her and murder her. I don't think Jim July was ever questioned over the death of his wife, and it's probably because he was in court, but I wouldn't put it past him. So Jim July killed his wife.
Makes
Still
sense.
not as fun as the fucking
No,
uh
I don't
John
think we're
Kick.
gonna get there.
I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna do it either. One or both of his kids is the last theory. Both Eddie and Pearl had good reason to get rid of their mother. She's abusive, manipulative, not loving. She had all the power in the relationship. They're still living at home. Maybe this is like a Menendez brothers situation where they just fucking kill her, try and get Younger's Bend, even though they're not Cherokee at all. Get whatever money she had. They also get to be free of her. Maybe Pearl could find Flossie. Maybe without her pressing the ant, you could figure out where Flossie actually got sent to. She didn't. She never did, but maybe she thought she could. Maybe Eddie doesn't feel unloved anymore. Just him and his sister. They were close. They were the only two kids that grew up out at Younger's Bend. Eddie had been seen at the same party that Belle was at the night she was killed. And he had left not long before her, so maybe he was just lying in wait. He saw her come. He's like, I'm going to kill her on the way home. Or both Pearl and him were lying in wait, waiting for her too. I found an article from the Dallas Star Herald from 1933, written by a woman who claims to have been Flossie. She says that the doctor that attended to the Eddie's wounds after Belle had put him in the hospital for stealing the horse said that Eddie told him he was going to murder his mother after what she had done with him. I mean, I'm going to kill you is a common thing you say to someone you're fucking super mad at. So it's really not evidence, but Flossie, the person who claims to be Flossie, says that that's what happened. Eddie killed her mother. So all these theories are fucking lame, overdone. Everybody talks about them all the time. Nobody's brought the historical fact of John Kick into the fucking mix before. So I'm all in for John Kick. I'm
glad because that is the truth.
It is the
As we've
truth.
decided we can just say.
Yeah, people do it all the time. Trust me, I listen to so much, like especially when I'm researching something, and I'm gonna call out a lot. I'm not gonna call out people specifically, but I'm gonna call out a lot of podcasts because I'll research and then the last thing I do is I listen to about 4 or 5 podcasts to make sure I didn't miss anything. Not only this one, but so many podcasts just make up shit. I research this shit so much. So many people just like fill in the gaps wherever they feel like filling in gaps with whatever information they want. So people do this all the time. It's unreal. So I feel like we should do this today. I'm going to fill in gaps with all this stuff. Fucking John Kick fucked him up. John Kick fucked him up.
John Kick, yeah. Fashioned a rifle that you could fire with hooves.
That's amazing. I didn't even think of it, but it's fucking so good. It's so good. She must have killed his pet dog. John Kick's pet dog.
Must be.
All right. I like it. I don't even want to add more to it. I like it. That's the end for me. That was fun. That was fun going to the Wild West, eh? I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I totally remembered that's what we were doing.
What magic card are you looking at?
I wasn't previously. It's only within this last like 2 minutes that's happened. And it's just because it apparently I can't be on the internet without looking at magic cards.
No, I'm just curious. What's the card you're looking at? Because I'm going to tell you what we're doing next week. And I'm just going to say the magic card, and I'm going to see if it associates with you.
Several, but let's see if we can pick one that will stick out. Here we go. What do we got? Doc Ock, sinister scientist.
Doc Ock. Think of that. We're doing a famous case next time. And very famous case that is famous for no reason because it's super boring. It's not really that good, but it got famous because because it was a pregnant lady who was murdered by her husband. We're doing the death of Lacey Peterson.
I just watched Private Dicks, and I think RJ is the funniest.
What? Come on!